Welcome to your Real Estate Review with Alan Canis of Engel & Volker's Silicon Valley, your weekly getaway to the pulsating heart of the global real estate market. Join us as we bring you exclusive interviews with top producing real estate agents from around the globe. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, or just a real estate enthusiast, this is your insider look into the pros, cons, and the captivating allure of the world's most sought-after locations. Let's discover where your next dream home awaits. Buckle up for a real estate journey like no other. This is your Real Estate Review with Alan Canis of Engel & Volker's Silicon Valley. Welcome everybody to your Real Estate Review with Alan Canis, that's me, of Engel & Volker's Silicon Valley. Today I want to welcome my really good friend, Mahsa Afsharpour of Saga Interiors. Mahsa, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you today?
I'm doing so well, Alan. I'm so excited and a little bit nervous, but I'm so excited for the opportunity to be on this and chat with you. And you have a very special place of my heart. So I'm grateful to be able to do this with you.
And yours and mine as well. Well, let's dive right in. And I'm going to ask you your first question. So the nerves will go away. Would, would you tell us a little bit about Saga Interiors and the inspiration behind starting your own firm?
Sure. I like to say that Saga Interiors was born when I was born. Sounds a little cheesy, but truly, I was always fascinated with how spaces, especially beautiful spaces, elicited a certain type of emotion, and often like a beautiful, happy emotion. So I want to say, like other kids, but unlike other children that were asking for toys, I did actually ask for toys as well, but I was more obsessed about like getting certain type of furniture, painting my bedroom a certain type of color and that sort of thing. So it's always something that was within me. But official start date, I would say January, March of 2017. I decided to put it all together and started and bring Saga Interiors from the depth of my soul to the rest of the world. And I'm super excited. It was such a beautiful time, and I feel like I'm just as excited today about working within the creative space as I was then. I forgot to tell you, so as I'm sure we'll talk about, my background is I'm Persian, grew up in Sweden, and then moved to the US for college and ended up staying. And so when I was starting Saga, the word saga in particular in Swedish means fairy tale or story.
Oh, lovely.
So the purpose was especially to, capture the story of every client and help them truly enjoy their spaces the way they should.
I don't think I ever asked you what the name was in all these years.
I know, I know. It was just right around. I thought you always know, 'cause, how we connected. Yeah, no, I think many people may have not known, but that's where it came from. And I think it is kind of like creating a fairy tale, and I get to um, make people feel special by,
Well,
making
you're helping with their dreams.
that's true.
So I help with the purchase or the sale, and you help with the design, which
Yeah.
it's wonderful. What distinguishes Saga Interiors from other design firms?
I would say at the core level, it's probably me and my heritage and my background and how I build relationships. I truly like when someone invests in my business, I feel like it's like a long-term relationship. And I truly see it as, clients that I'm going to rework with down the line. Not just their primary home, but maybe vacation homes and that sort of thing. So I spend a lot of time nurturing those relationships. But I think also it's my style of doing things, right? Like, even though it's essential to collaborate with our clients to get their feelings, emotions, and their priorities into the space, it is like a collaboration between my heritage of this Persian heritage, Scandinavian upbringing, and the love for the Californian lifestyle to kind of bring everything to life. So I think that's the key thing that differentiates us. But we spend a lot of time making sure our clients are happy with the whole process and the end results.
I particularly, and for my own selfish reasons, love working with you because you do look out for your clients and you listen. And I find sometimes others don't, and they kind of just go off on the left, a turn at Albuquerque and a tangent. But you're really there and listening, and And just so that everybody knows, Masa has not only helped with my clients, but and friends and family, et cetera, but she's also done my own offices. So I had the privilege of working with you personally. And it is a privilege.
That is such a thoughtful compliment. Thank you, Alan.
You're
That's
welcome.
beautiful. That makes
Took me a long time to get to it.
that was beautiful. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. What does a typical design process at Saga Interiors look like?
Sure. I feel like so we spend a lot of time. We have a fun 5-step process, and I'm not going to go into the technicalities of it, but the main portion and the biggest part is truly working with our clients to find their vision and what they want. I feel like that's where I spend a lot of time. So go over their Pinterest board, make sure that we understand and agree on what the goal of the project is and that we're aligned on the vision. Then the other technicalities are once we have that, we schedule like a presentation date and I go through and actually create the drawings, renderings, video walkthroughs, source each and every material that goes into the spaces, create templates and all this good stuff, bring materials depending on what the type of project is. And then we present to the client, we make sure we're aligned again. We usually go back and forth a couple of times. If we get it right on the first time, I'm golden, love that. But sometimes it's little tweaks until we finalize it. Then we go on to project management where we order the pieces, collaborate with the contractor or the trades folks involved to not conceptualize, but actually materialize the vision and project that we've designed for the clients. And then I would love to say every project has that turnkey moment of the HDTV reveal, but a lot of times it's a little bumpy once we get there. And a lot of times clients are moved in or, but that's the execution, like basically getting from A to Z in a seamless process.
Love it. How do you tailor your designs to reflect a client's personality and lifestyle?
I truly, like I said, I spend a lot of time picking their brain, getting them to help me share their vision. So especially, I feel like a lot of people know what they don't like, but they sometimes not certain about what they do like. So when they share a Pinterest board or specific images, I make it a point to say, so what is it that you like about this image? Because we might be not aligned on what it is that's beautiful. I might be obsessed with the specific light fixture, but they're maybe obsessing about, I don't know, the sofa or like a decorative piece or the lighting. So spend truly a lot of time figuring that part out. And then of course, going over the boring stuff like budget and how they want to feel in the space and what they truly how they want to use the space. So a lot of time nurturing those relationships and pulling the information. I always joke about clients like, if you don't tell me what you want, it's going to be my house. But this is, that'd be easy, but I'm here to help you bring your vision to life.
Asking a lot of questions is definitely something that you do, and I appreciated when we were working together.
Yeah.
And you touched on budget. What is your approach to working with clients that have a budget and while achieving stunning results?
So I think it's so budget. I feel like clients may sometimes get uncomfortable when the topic comes out. So I try to approach it in a couple of different ways. One way is creating like kind of like a list of budget-friendly furniture, what that price range is, medium range, and then of course high end. So they have a bit like a realistic expectation of what that looks like. This is in regards to furniture, but I think I also make sure we review that second set, make sure we are aligned and truly understand the budget and how realistic it is, because everybody wants to, well, not some people don't have a budget and they don't want to talk about it, but everybody truly does have a budget. And I think one mistake I did quite a lot in my early years was like, when they say I didn't have a budget, I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm just kidding. But, but it was important to fine tune and get to what that actual number is. And then what we do with our clients is truly make that realistic, and we may have to adjust certain things, and I'll help them understand where to put their money so they get the most bang for their buck, if you will, or they are able to truly avoid making costly mistakes, and they're able to invest in the things that are going to matter long term.
I remember when we were working on my first office, and we had a budget. Mm-hmm. And you stayed within it, but then you took money from others, because I remember the desks. Yeah. we wanted desks that had storage and et cetera. In order to accomplish that, for the longevity, it made sense to spend a little bit more on the desk, but maybe not as much on the lighting and et cetera. And so you were really able to assist navigating through that, and that I appreciate.
Thank you. I think essential to put the money where on the things or pieces that get the most wear and tear, because the foundation of your business is to sit at a desk and be able to do the everyday chores versus like maybe like a desk lamp is not as essential as something sturdy to do the work on.
I remember the wall art with Casey and Mark and I, and hanging that so that it was configured in a certain design.
Yeah.
You were able to do it. I could never have done it.
Gallery walls are one of my biggest challenges.
And speaking of design, where do you find inspiration for your designs, and how do you stay ahead of the industry trends?
Oh my gosh, good question. I feel like every day, honestly, like I'm like everybody else, I'm like influenced by everything and anything I see, whether it's Instagram, magazines, and so forth. What I love the most is, and I get a lot of inspiration, is other creatives. And for example, we had a photo shoot recently for one of my projects, and it was one of my favorite projects. No offense to other projects, but like, but I had a florist come in and she did the most beautiful flower arrangements, and that truly inspired me and just opened up like new levels of inspiration and processes of how I thought about a space. And that was exciting. And same like photographers, florists, event planners, TV shows. I can walk in and I was at a really cool hotel over the weekend and just obsessed with like the lighting, everything, honestly.
Do you find that you walk in into spaces and want to redesign it?
Totally. Yes. I've always done that. Always, always, always. So before getting into interior design, I was in the corporate America world, and conference rooms used to just truly drive me nuts. I'm like, why is this so intimidating? It's such a space that gets used so often. And like, I would like, oh, like imagine if you like change the lighting, change this table to make it less sterile and make it more warm and homely. I totally do that all the time. But I won't say it to people unless they ask me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure that's like anybody that's like, plastic surgeons or like.
There are people that just say it.
Okay. I made it a point not to share unless asked.
What are some of the common misconceptions about working with an interior designer?
Sure. I would say, I think people think that we just decorate spaces or like put stuff in order, but it's such a technical type of profession. We truly, besides like going into the spaces, measuring everything out and meticulously obsessing about the space, how the lighting's going to work, how like are we going to, when we do like our lighting plans, I obsess about not only the light fixture, but how is the lighting going to be used, whether it's task lighting or mood lighting and all this stuff. We spend a lot of time meticulously, not only, creating the space planning, creating the renderings, but doing the video walkthrough, sourcing each and every piece. And then we bring it all together beautifully within your budget and your timeline. And it looks so effortless, but it's a lot of detail that we spend going over. And especially with like construction type of work, I feel like I truly obsess about like the tile and how that's going to work in this specific bathroom with all the pieces together. So it's like much more comprehensive than just putting a couple of pieces of furniture into a room, if you will.
Well, and I keep referring back to the office, my office that you designed. It was one big open space, and you were able to create separate spaces using not only the desk and the conference room table, but also the light fixture. That light fixture was amazing over that conference room table. That really defined the space. And people would walk in and that's what they would see. And so it makes a difference.
I hope you took that light fixture with you.
No, I did not.
That was I'm sure all my clients will tell you, lighting, especially light fixtures, is one of my favorite pieces to source. And I feel like light fixtures make such an impact into a space. So talk about like if you want to take the ordinary into extraordinary, that's where you should put your money for sure.
And the reason I didn't take it is that there is a story behind
Thank
this.
you. I
So
would be able to sleep better at
our
night.
first house in Hillsborough, I found a light fixture. It was in Dwell magazine. It was very contemporary, and it took 6 months to get this light fixture. Hung it over the dining room table. When we sold the house, the only thing I wanted was that light fixture. Well, what ended up happening was it sat in a storage box for 8 years because it didn't fit in the other houses. They weren't as mid-century modern contemporary to fit, or it was too high ceilings, etc. It should have stayed with that house because that's where it was meant to be. It's the same with the light fixture in the office. We talked about taking it, and I said, where else are we going to use it? It really was meant for that space. And we left the conference room table there as well.
Oh, you did. Okay,
Yes,
that
we
makes
did. We
sense.
took all the other furniture, but we left those two components and it fit.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Well, thank you. That definitely is going to help me sleep
there was a
better.
there was
I
a
was,
behind the mat.
no, but I think it's so true, but because it was custom made to that
Yeah.
space. So I get it. I won't be mad at
And
it.
as far as I know, the tenants all love it.
Do they?
So, yeah.
Who moved in after you?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark would report back.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm so happy.
What specific services does Saga Interiors offer, and how do you customize them for each client and project?
Of course. I would say again, going back to spending a lot of time trying to understand the project, the client, and what their needs and wishes are and what they're trying to create. So we do everything from a consultation. A lot of times, especially with my realtors, we spend a lot of time. We might get most of their checklist of things they need done, especially
Wait, what do you mean my realtors? I thought I
my
was the only one.
realtor. No, but when it comes to working with us in terms of getting properties ready for launch or for sale, and you're my only realtor, Alan. There's no one like you. But we do quick consultation, for example, for a project like that. We pick out colors, suggest lighting, simple stuff that can get done. For, let's say, we do everything from a simple consultation, a few room makeovers to full-on construction, from like gutting and remodeling everything. So it's truly what your project entails and
Okay.
what you're looking for.
Well, and speaking of what you're looking for, how do you assist clients that are unsure of what their style or vision is for their space?
I want their satisfaction is my top priority. So the easy thing would be just show up and like do what I want to do, but that's not the answer. But again, I spend time figuring out, okay, what colors do you like? Do you like spaces? Have you been to any hotels that really made you, change I don't know, the frequency in your body, how you got excited, sorry. Or have you been space? Is there anything that stands out? And that kind of, because that's familiar for them, right? They're like, oh, I love going to this specific hotel in Santa Barbara. I'm like, oh, cool. What's the vibes there? What do you
Okay.
like? So I try to find up or bring up places, spaces that truly resonates with them, and then kind of fine tune from there. So you like the hotel. What is it you like about it? Is it the furniture? Was it the velvet? Was it like the lighting? What was it? And that sort of thing. So I try to simplify it and try to really get into their heads, which is hard.
I know if you got into mine, it'd be a little scary.
I don't want to be.
You'd run
I don't
screaming.
only when it comes to design request, Alan.
And speaking of design, and what are the most exciting trends or timeless design elements that you're incorporating into your projects right now?
Depends. Again, this depends a lot on the type of client we work with. But so I'll tell you about the project we just shot as a good example. I was really obsessed with this one specific Swedish designer, Paul Bedrosian, I believe. I'm probably butchering his last name, but he's on Instagram. You should check him out. Kitchens by Paul, and he
Okay.
used Taj Mahal stone on this stunning rounded, like an oval island that he had, and he used Taj Mahal on the actual island, the whole thing from
Wow.
surface to sides to the whole. It was just breathtaking. And on the counters in the background, and as a backsplash. So that was an obsession of mine. And in my last project, the one we just shot,
Is that the one that I saw you at? The
yes,
corner that I
yes.
wanted to go in that house.
Oh
I
my
was waiting
God.
for an
I have to
appointment.
take you. It's breathtaking. And it's funny, this client wasn't even planning on a kitchen remodel, but they had bought this house, and the only funky part about this house was the kitchen. And I was like, would you be open to it? And luckily she said yes. And she said yes to using Taj Mahal stone,
Ah,
not only on the counter. And we did like a version of that same island. So we did like a peninsula wrapped in the stone on the surface and wrapped around, and then on the counters and the backsplash around the window. It's like Taj Mahal stone everywhere, beautifully paired with like oak cabinets, and the light in that house is just magical. So I obsess about something, and then if I get a chance and get a client that's open to it, I try to see if they would let us implement that. So sometimes all stars and moons align and I am able to, and other times I just get to keep it in my heart until it becomes a reality.
well, I cannot wait to see.
Yeah, I can't.
And I
I
know it'll
want
be in your marketing and your social media, et cetera. So I know I'll see it there as well. I'm looking forward to
absolutely.
seeing that.
Yes, I can't wait to. I'll send you some sneak peeks before after this.
Thank you. And how do you build trust and maintain transparency with your clients throughout the project? Because it sounds like the one you just did, you really had to have the trust.
Totally. No, so I think so. I'll give credit to my corporate background quite a lot. I was in sales for 20 years, and it became very quickly evident to me how important relationships are, and how not just in the terms of sales, because it's not about just selling, but it's truly about. I really enjoy building relationship with clients, and I feel like it's very natural to me. So I spend a lot of time being transparent from the very start, from our pricing on how we share our discounts with our clients to all the paperwork. I'm very straightforward with the investment it's going to take to start a project with us. And I'm truly honest, but sometimes I can sugarcoat stuff. But I think I'm very honest and straightforward and authentic when I work with clients and pretty much anybody I interact with.
Mhm.
Where you can tell,
Yeah,
you have some experience.
you are. Definitely.
you know.
Well, and as you talk and as you explain things, it really builds, for me anyways, it built the trust that you knew what you were doing.
Hmm.
And you have a specific design aesthetic that I gravitate towards. And also, it's your personality. I mean, that's why we've been friends for so long. We gravitated towards each other. It was,
Thank
it
you,
was
Alan. So many
instant.
compliments today.
Well, and
I'm
they're
gonna
true.
walk out of here with this giant head.
I know.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. What advice would you give someone considering starting to work with an interior designer for the first time? And how can potential clients get started with Saga Interiors?
Well, I'll go backwards. Starting with Saga
Okay.
Interiors, you just find me on sagainteriors.com or social media at Saga Interiors. And I'm sure I'm on Alan's Instagram as well.
You are.
Uh, but that's the easiest. But I think what's important when you work with a designer, I think one, make sure it's a match personality wise, because even if it's a smaller project, you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person, and you want to make sure you're comfortable with them coming into your home and all that stuff. So I think building trust, make sure it's a good fit, make sure you sit down and truly create a vision of what you want, not necessarily all the technicalities, but like collect photos, create a Pinterest board, I don't know, screenshots, and have like ideas of what you want to create, and then share those with your designer and see if they understand what you're trying to create. I think that's kind of, did I answer your question?
Yeah,
I
you did.
sometimes go off tangents, so bring me back.
That's what makes it fun.
Sorry. It's a very great quality of mine.
Well,
Roundabout answer question.
yes. So this is one of my favorite questions. I always ask towards the end.
Mhm.
Would you share a story about one of your favorite or most challenging projects and what made it so memorable? And don't use mine.
I know I was going to go there, but challenging projects. I think when you're in construction, there's always going to be things that you have to pivot around. There might be challenges. And I always set the right expectations with clients. And I, instead of beating around the bush, I'm pretty direct. Believe it or not, I
Yes.
just go to them. I'm like, this is what's going on. We're going to have it. So, for example, I'll bring up this is not the challenge, most challenging, but we had challenges with like getting it. A client bought a beautiful home. They were expecting a baby, so we had a limited amount of time to get their home ready. We weren't doing major changes. We were maybe refinishing the floors, replacing some surfaces in the kitchen, updating the hardware. We did paint and refinish. And like we had some challenges finalizing and perfecting the type of floor color that they wanted, especially because they were refinishing the floors to find that stain. So
Mhm.
we had to have an honest conversation and say, listen, I know you wanted a specific type of white oak, but these floors and within what we're looking to do in the timeline are not going to get lighter than this. So we have the option of, moving forward at this, or we have to replace the floors. What's your choice? So I think, again, it goes back to having transparent conversations instead of beating around the bush, just going for it and go through the problem, as corny as that sounds,
Yeah.
then just around again. And I think we solved it pretty and beautifully, and it came out amazing, as it always says. But, happy ending. I think that's the one that comes to mind. But if you give me
Okay.
some more time, more things might pop up.
What'll happen is after we're done recording, an hour later, you're going to
I
go,
know.
oh, I should have said this.
Yeah, or I'm in bed and like at
But
night.
then you know what? That opens the door for anybody looking for interior design to call Masa and
Oh, yes,
hear her stories.
absolutely. Because I have plenty of them and I don't stop talking.
Well, Masa, I want to thank you so much for being on the show. I truly, truly, not only do I love you, you're in my heart. I appreciate all that you do and all the design elements that you bring. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. I'm full, my heart is like full of compliments, and this is going to carry me through the rest of
Good,
not just today, the week, I
good,
think. So
good, good,
thank
good.
you. Thank you for always having my back, always saying the most beautiful things about not just me, but also my business. You don't understand how much I value that. So thank you. Thank you for always keeping
You're
me in
so welcome. Well, I mean it.
mind. I
So,
appreciate it.
so thank you everyone for listening and coming to the show. I want to thank you. I am Alan Canis of Engel and Volker, Silicon Valley. This is your real estate review. And today we were with Mahsa Afsharpour of Saga Interiors. Thank you, Mahsa.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan.